You're joking, right?
Well, I'm trying to be hopeful. I'm trying to be optimistic about that.
Well, I guess you're too young to be a little pessimistic like me. The fucking things I see out there, people are stupid.
We're in real close quarters here.
Are we really?
Yeah, I feel like
It's fine.
you're
The other
about,
one's more
gonna
close.
try to lean in for a kiss.
We have leg. That's okay. We have leg room. The other one before. Hi, everybody. Guess where we are?
Guess. We'll give you
Okay, we're
10
in
seconds.
Manzanillo, Mexico. Did I say it right?
Yeah, you did for the first time.
Wow.
First time all week.
So
Unfortunately, you can't see the view that we're looking at because it's pretty great. But believe it or not, we didn't bring a full production equipment system down, so we didn't have lights to light because it's so bright out.
well, you know why we didn't bring it?
Why?
We have our. We need more Patreon members for a bigger budget.
True.
Right, Bronny?
Go join. And now it's not letting me connect to Wi-Fi.
How do they join?
Don't breathe into the mic. Patreon.com/daddyissuespod.
What's that? I wasn't paying attention.
Patreon.com/daddyissuespod.
You liked the way I said that? It played off like I wasn't paying attention, so you can say it twice. So here we are, everybody. So we are overlooking the ocean. It is fucking beautiful. It's not, Bronny? Like,
Yeah.
is there a way you could show the house like in a picture, like people want to watch? Like, it's fucking. This house is.
I mean, they can like go on our Instagram, and I'm sure I'll make a post of us being here. But like,
Crazy.
I can't turn the camera around right now.
no, but I'm saying like, you know how we took a picture when we first got here?
Yeah,
Like, put it up, just show a picture in the YouTube.
can't show a picture in YouTube. Oh, I mean, I could put. You know what? I'll put a picture right here if you're watching. It's right where my hand.
That's what I'm talking about. It is so nice. This place is so friggin' nice. It is unbelievable. Were you shocked
Did
when
the
we got
Wi-Fi
here?
turn off? I think the Wi-Fi
I
turned
know.
off.
Were you shocked when you
It's
came in?
beautiful. Yeah,
We
yeah,
got
yeah.
it Friday night.
So we're here in Mexico for the week, just chilling. We rented a
The
house
family.
on
Beautiful.
the water.
Beautiful house, by the way.
Yeah,
Huge.
yeah, it's a great house.
No, we were shocked.
yes,
You were
But,
going
like,
crazy.
We can't describe that to
Okay.
people
All right. So here we are. Go ahead.
because like
Brian.
if they can't see it, we can't describe it.
Well, of course you can. Describe everything.
Describe it. Go. Give it.
No, you do. You see. I want to see your description.
It feels like we're drug lords, is what it feels like to me. Like we're in this house. I mean, I don't want to like. It's a little ostentatious to be like to talk.
No,
about.
we didn't know about it. We got it. We
I know,
bid
but
on a charity,
Yeah.
and we got it. We knew nothing about the house, so it's not like we own it.
No, but I'm saying like to the people listening to be like, oh my God, we're in this crazy house. It's huge.
all, we
and
don't
there-
sound like
there
that.
are 5 staff and they're cooking all for us. It's like,
So you just did that.
yes,
you just vamped.
This
is that
all
what it is?
true.
Vamp?
No, that's not at all. It's
What's it
called?
called?
Bragging. That's what I just did.
Oh, is that what it is? Bragging? I didn't know what
Yeah.
that term meant. Okay.
But like on the one hand, sure, share it with you guys, but also then it's like I feel a little like uncomfortable doing that.
Never
but
feel
anyways,
uncomfortable for something that we worked hard for.
I didn't work hard for this,
Well, right. That I worked hard for. I don't feel uncomfortable.
but it's beautiful. Yes, we're here in Mexico. We've been here a couple days. Have you been having fun, Dad? There's no.
I'm having a great time. People are very nice here. The accommodations are great. The weather's phenomenal. I love being here with the family and having a quality time. We're having a great time. And the food is awesome. But honestly, it's disgusting how much fucking food. I mean, I've
Yeah, but
gone
that's
to the
not a
bathroom.
Mexico thing.
I've gone to the bathroom so many times I'm ripping my ass. It's terrible.
Ew.
No, I mean, like, I'm wiping my ass.
Maybe
so
like
much.
what? You're ripping your ass.
No, I'm saying we're eating so much, it's disgusting. But honestly, I'm having a really, really nice time, and I love being with the family. So,
and we're taking an hour out of our precious vacation for you, motherfuckers.
see, that's so stupid.
For you, lovely people, listeners.
You're a
Fans.
strange bird.
Why?
No, it's our pleasure. We're happy to share this experience with you. Happy to be here with you guys, and this is really being with the family's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. I just wish you guys could see outside, but you can't, so I'm not going to keep bringing it up.
We're gonna live one night this week and show you one day at a time during the day.
Sure, but that'll all, yeah.
Okay,
But we don't know when, so I'm not going to.
correct. We don't know when.
You had something that you wanted to, you were like in the car right up here, you were like,
So
I got to bring this up.
Okay, we'll hang out. All right, guys. So here's the thing. So I had a client we were at dinner with the other night, and she told us that when her kid was born as an infant, the baby had breast milk in its breast, and they had to milk the baby's breast.
What?
Then, and we're like, no fucking way, and that's the God's honest truth. Then on top of it, she says that she knows of stories, and I don't know if this is true or not, that when babies were born, that they had the baby girl, and this was a male, that they had to squeeze the breast with it, which is bizarre. And then she said also that a
What?
Yeah, I know, Ron, I know. Then a girl.
Wait, who said this?
I'm not telling you who.
No, I'm not going to say a name. Someone that you know it happened to their child, or they heard.
Yes, no,
Okay,
happened to their child,
Okay.
which I never heard of. And then the other thing is, and you got to look this shit up. The other thing is they said that they were told that infants have like a period. How's that even possible? Or you're born with the eggs, right? You told me that. You're born with
But they're not developed.
No, isn't that weird?
The only way it's possible is like it's not normal, like it's an abnormality.
Okay, but I'm curious to know if this shit's true. But do
I
men have
believe
milk
it's
in their
true.
breasts?
Well, men have breasts. Do men have mammary glands? Yeah, we must. We're mammals. Yeah, we must. Men have.
Okay, so
men, I guess, have the ability to produce.
So
milk,
we got to
I guess.
look this shit up.
Well, I don't have internet right now, so I might need to use your phone because my phone's filming.
All right.
I don't know why the
Seriously?
Wi-Fi's not working in the house.
Well, let me see. I have Wi-Fi. Okay.
No, you don't.
I just had it a minute ago. No. Okay.
I mean, the thing is, it's got to be just they're messed up. Wait, this happened to both her children?
No,
or
they
she's heard of
they
the
don't.
period?
They don't have any daughters. But she said she heard of that too. But
What, like a period?
I don't know. But let's look
That's
at
messed
an
up.
infant male.
It's just got to be
boy
from the chemicals that we ingest.
or something. Yeah, related.
It's
to
got
what
to be the
giving-
plastics that the mom ingested. Literally something like that. Not to always bring up plastics, but it's got like that because that's not normal. But also a lot of weird shit happens that is not
Correct.
normal.
That's why I'm just saying I was intrigued.
What am
by
I
it.
What am I googling?
I don't know. Infant boys that
Infant boy breast milk. God, that's weird.
what do you call when a woman
What a weird search.
excretes out? What do they call it?
Lactating.
Lactating. That's what I would type up.
Why do baby boys have milk in their nipples? It's called witch's milk.
Okay, so it's true.
Witch's milk or neonatal milk is milk. Oh, this is disgusting. Is milk secreted from the breast of newborn infants of either sex. Neonatal milk secretion is considered a normal physiological occurrence. It is thought to be caused by a combination of the effects of maternal hormones before birth, prolactin, and growth hormones passed through breastfeeding, and the postnatal pituitary and thyroid hormone surge. Breast milk production occurs in 5% of newborns and can persist for 2 months through breast buds. Oh no, though breast buds can persist into childhood. What a bad name for it. Witch's milk.
Yeah.
Witch's milk is more likely to be secreted by infants born at full term and not prematurely. The consistency of neonatal milk is estimated to be quite similar to maternal milk. Okay, that's disgusting. So it's normal.
Okay, and what about the girl part? I don't know if I agree with the girl part.
Infant
Girls, period. Menstruation.
menstruation.
Yeah.
Menstruation. Baby girl menstruation.
Unbelievable. They have everything on the fucking internet.
This is from Seattle Children's Hospital. Newborn vaginal bleeding. Baby girls can have some minor vaginal bleeding. It can start anytime from 2 to 10 days of life. This is normal, and it's called false menses. Ugh, that word makes me cringe. The cause is the sudden drop-off in the mother's estrogen after birth. The blood-tinged or pink discharge should not last more than 3 or 4 months. So it's just blood. It's not a period.
Should we give that girl that we did the menstrual cycle, she puts on her face?
Well, it's not a period. It's just blood out of the vagina.
All right, let me
This is
search
a
it out.
fucking disgusting conversation.
I'm just brought it up.
No, it's crazy. But just like talking about baby vaginas
I was just more
bleeding.
intrigued by anything else.
Ugh.
Well, I'm not looking at it that way.
I mean, the thing is, the body's crazy. The body can do, like, there's so much shit that we have no idea. And, I mean, you can be born, some people are born with
all right.
webbed
We don't
hands and they do
talk
surgery.
about
People are born with tails and they just remove them. People are born with one eye. Like, so many
All right.
things.
I just thought I'd bring
I'm
that
going to keep needing to use your phone, I guess, because
whatever you need.
my laptop's just not working, unfortunately. Because
There's
we
no
are
wi-
at...
There's no Wi-Fi.
No, it
I
must
have
be
Wi-Fi.
down.
No, I don't
you
have
don't.
Wi-Fi.
You
You're
don't.
right.
It must be down.
That's a problem.
Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to hotspot your phone to my computer. And then it'll be easier. Look at that technology. Okay, now it's time to vamp, Dad.
What am I going to vamp about?
I don't know. How have you... How have you felt Mexico is? Because I feel like you're not the easiest person. Like, we're walking around. Actually, you've been better this
What does
trip.
that mean? I'm not easy. What do you mean I've been better? What the
with
fuck?
other countries, with other cultures. Like,
I
you're a
travel
xenophobe.
all over the world. I'm
and
very
you-
accepting.
No, you travel all over the world, but you're like, this is disgusting. How do like?
No, explain to me. A little more detail, please.
Okay, hold on. I got to get your password.
I'd like to know what you're talking about.
you always go like to countries, like you said, what was it? There was some like big building or some engineering thing, and you were like, how do they build that here? And I was like, what do you mean they just build it? And you're like, yeah, but how are they, like, they're not smart enough to build it. And I was like,
that's not what I was saying. No, see, you guys teased me that. What I was saying was that it's very different rules, structures, code, ordinances, things like that. Things are much more lax. So what I was saying was that how is it that without the necessary guidelines and restrictions that these things are so massive and stay up? I'm not talking about that they're stupid, they're not as smart as us. You guys just rag on me with that.
I think you probably think that non-white people are less smart.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't agree with you on that. I'm saying, for example, when you go to Israel, you see how all the wires are out and this and that, how some things are built so well, but yet things are so lackadaisical. I just think that like America has major guidelines, ordinances, follow-ups like this 40-year certification to make sure buildings are intact. There's so many different rules and regulatory things that other countries are not. Just driving on the road.
Doesn't that to me then my next thought is then, do we need the guidelines? Do we need all the regulation? Do we
100%?
Because
100%.
Everyone else is like, today we were walking in this little, like the old town here, and
the sidewalks. How many times can you trip?
Yeah, it's like
Mom
the sidewalk.
Foot.
The sidewalks are like, there's holes in just
everywhere.
Big holes. There's like dogs just running around. We went to a market, and there was just
called
like
the old city. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, like the historic part of the town. And we went to like the main market, and there's just like raw meat just about. There's dogs walking through the market, like trying to get the raw meat off the counters.
Yeah.
There's flies and bugs just on meat.
Yeah.
But then it's like, these people live all day, every day doing that, and they're fine. Like, they're totally fine.
Listen,
maybe we're just like weak people.
No.
I think modern Western, especially Americans, are just weaker. So like because we're coddled, we're safer. So we, like, when we're kids, our parents are always like, watch where you're walking. Or like, right, we don't have, or actually, no, we don't have to watch where we're walking. So then when we come here, we trip. Where like the kids here, they know that there's a hole there, so they just step over it.
Or we've evolved to saying we want things better. We just want things better. So I don't agree. I think
better in what way?
Meaning not have the holes there, make things more unified, make things prettier, make things safer, make them more stable.
But like the market, let's say, like
the market. I think. Right,
but like that, like so we went to the market, and the meat that we were seeing was killed like 3 hours before we were seeing it.
Okay.
Our meat back home is killed 3 months before and is frozen and is pumped full of, like the meat here, the mountains up there, that's where the meat is grown. The meat that's grown from us is 3,000 miles away. We have no idea who is growing it, or raising, I should say. We have no idea what the animal's being fed. Here they know because it's like their cousin who did it.
Okay.
So actually, I would argue that theirs is more evolved. Ours is worse.
No, first of all, number one is there's so many less people here. So it's a lot easier. When you have, the more people you have, the more you need rules and guidelines because things can become.
Are you talking about just in the country in general or in this town?
Let's say whatever area you're at. If you're, for example, it's like this: maintaining a neighborhood is much easier than maintaining a city. It's much easier than maintaining a country, or a county, or a state, and then, that kind of thing. So,
but we don't have like here. Antonio, who's like the guy, like our guide, he said in town, you know everyone. So you go to the fishmonger and you know him. So you trust him. He got the fish today. He handled it well because you know him. Everyone knows each other. Back home in our neighborhood, like obviously we know people in our community,
but it's different.
It's not like this.
Okay, so
it's not interconnected.
When Mom and I grew up, for example,
depend on the entire country. Here they just depend on their neighbors,
right? So when Mom
stronger in my opinion,
yeah, but I also think
pros and cons, obviously.
Well, I think it's a nicer, more wholesome way. Like when Mom and I grew up, for example, we had milk delivered directly to our house, and all they did, and it was just a glass bottle, and there was foil over it. It was pressed foil. It wasn't even a cap. And that milk was put in an ice box.
And it was probably not from very far away.
Right, just hear me out for a second. Right, so we had many things delivered where you had boxes outside your front door, and you come home, they were delivered. Even diapers, milk, potato chips, cookies, shit like that. Now, today's day and age, because there's so many fucking crazy fucking people out there, and for whatever reason, they just are, okay?
That's not the reason why we don't do that anymore. There's no way. It's because business has gotten so big and they make so much money that right, like your milk delivery company was local. It was in the town. The big milk conglomerate that's based out of Omaha, Nebraska is so big they can undercut the local milk guy, and now the milk guy is $8 a gallon, or you can go to the supermarket and it's $2 a gallon. So they put them out of business. I get it. I don't think the local milk doesn't exist because people were like tainting the milk.
No, listen. There is a safety issue today as opposed to was years ago. There's so many more crazier people out there. There's more number of people that you just have to be concerned. That's all.
That's not the reason why our communities have gotten less connected. I'm not talking
about the reason. I'm saying that that's where we are, and safety is a big issue now. We understand, big business. Look at like Amazon, what's going on with how they're destroying.
Yeah, but how'd you get, like you were saying, you brought up the milkman and then you said people are so crazy. Like, where were you going?
Because today I wouldn't feel comfortable of having milk or food delivered just sitting out there without knowing who the fuck tampered with it.
But
they do, I guess Uber Eats, they do that shit.
But you do feel comfortable getting milk from a stranger company that you don't know about that's 6,000 miles away. It's like, to me, that's crazy.
Well,
I mean, it's the way.
But I guess the guidelines.
I
guess what I'm used to is guidelines and protections. Like here, we were talking at lunch today. The meat sits out here with flies and this and that, and there's no FDA regulations and so forth. So at least where you're going to meet certain minimum requirements in the United States, and it's just what we're used to. Just like
I know, totally. I just think we're weaker. Like we'll come here and be like, we can't drink the water. Here they're like, yeah, no problem.
No, they don't really even drink the water here.
Well, he said they don't drink the water because it's too chlorinated, not because they'll get sick.
Because but remember, our stomach is not used to it.
That's what I'm saying. Because we're a little weaker.
Not weaker. It's just evolved. It changed. It's not weaker. For example, you could say
this is the opposite of how we usually feel. Usually, you're like Americans are weak. America has lost. I'm now saying America's weak.
No, I don't. Listen, I think Americans are weak for certain things, but I don't think we're weaker because we don't drink the water here. I think that maybe it's just the way we evolve. For example, our stomach
not evolved. That's the wrong word.
Our stomachs can't handle maybe certain meats sitting out there for a while.
Yeah, because it's not we're weaker.
No, it's just that we're not accustomed to it. It's not weaker. They might. The people
modern Western stomachs are definitely weaker than the majority of the world. It's not a bad thing. It's just the society.
About that. Listen, I don't need to eat scorpion or grasshoppers. I don't need to eat it.
No one really eats that.
Okay,
they do in some Asian countries.
They eat dog and cat. I don't want to eat that. We're not used to. I don't want to eat that.
Well, that's a different thing. That's just a different type of meat. I'm talking about like, I mean, it's whatever.
We're eating the meat. We ate the other night the meat. We're eating stuff. We're trying all these different kind of foods. It's good. We like it.
That's not what I mean by weak. I mean like, yeah. I mean it's fine. Choosing to eat dog is a choice. It's not us as well-off Americans are coddled in the world we live in. So where the rest of the world, like you go here and kids. Right, like a 5-year-old in America, in a well-off community, and a 5-year-old here are very different types of 5-year-olds. A 5-year-old here is like they are stronger. They can do more shit. They're more capable in terms of survival, not in terms of education or whatever, but in terms of survival. I would argue that not only are they physically more capable, but they are also mentally more capable.
So they have a harder life, right? So therefore they can withstand more, but I don't know if they're necessarily more capable.
Of survival is what I mean.
I don't know.
I don't mean more capable of like succeeding in finance.
No, wait, but okay, I hear you, like, meaning if they had to go hungry longer because not you, possibly, yes.
They're more resilient.
However, one can make the argument
because they're raised with hardship.
Wait, but one can make an argument that you never know, because depending on upbringing, that a 5-year-old kid might be able to, because of what they're accustomed to, or let's say the 2 years of preschool beforehand, maybe they would be more resilient and more creative in a survival situation. You just don't know. The body can do a lot during a survival situation. I think a 5-year-old kid here or a 5-year-old kid back in America, if no parents around, they're going to fucking cry.
Yeah, I mean, I'm basically just saying Americans are very coddled, which we know we are. I am extremely coddled compared to most of the world. That's just part of it. We get uncomfortable if the air conditioner is if it's
now is that coddled or saying I know what I want, I fucking want it?
It's coddled.
No, because
that everyone wants it.
No, okay.
Every single person would not want to be hot.
Okay,
but a lot of people just, it's not, they're used to it, so they don't care.
So let's
we're like, I'm so uncomfortable, I couldn't sleep because it was hot. Most of the world is just like, whatever.
All right, but
And there's not one that's worse than the other.
I'm not saying one, but someone that might not have air conditioning might be more accepting of being hot because that's all they know. However, having air conditioning saying, I want to bitch because I don't have air conditioning doesn't mean you're weaker.
No, it just means that's coddled.
No, listen for a second.
Spoiled.
No, why is it spoiled? Because let me just
okay.
Listen.
Think of it in a kid's
listen,
version,
you literally went to that Turtle Island. I hiked Kilimanjaro for 9 days, living in a fucking tent, shit in a hole. Okay, so my point is, but most people wouldn't do that.
But
here's what I disagree. I think that they might not do it, but if they had to do it, they would survive and do it.
Of course.
So liking luxury, liking better things doesn't mean necessarily more coddled. I think
that's not liking luxury. What I'm describing, being uncomfortable when there's no air conditioning is not liking luxury.
But if you had it, if you had it, and it's taken away and you want to bitch about it, does that mean you're coddled?
100%. It does. Think about, okay, let's take it in terms of an 8-year-old, right? If there was one 8-year-old that was complaining because they were uncomfortable because they're so used to being always super comfortable, and there was another 8-year-old that didn't complain at all, you would say that one's spoiled. You would. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's just the way it is. I get you're not saying it's bad. You don't have to keep saying that. But I think there's nothing wrong for wanting certain things, achieving to have a better avenue of life. Not what I'm saying.
Well, and then if it's taken away and you complain,
you're spoiled. Think about all the wealthy people you know, like all the multimillionaires, billionaires that you know, they're all extremely coddled. They're all extremely spoiled. If their shit was not the way they wanted or their shit was taken away from them, they would not know how to handle it. They might not handle it. Listen, we're included in that. We are extremely
That's
coddled.
what I'm saying. No. See, I don't agree with that. I look at it, if I go to a place.
It's okay, but we are.
Listen, whether it's okay or not, I'm just making a point. If I go to a place and don't get the level of service I want, it's not good enough for me. I want the level of service. That's because not spoiled.
It 100% is. Let me finish. And we're just misunderstanding.
Okay.
Where we don't agree on the word definition of spoiled.
If you are willing to pay for something and you don't get the value, I'm not getting value for it, and why do I need to accept that? That's not spoiled or coddled. I disagree with you.
It is. That's just
then we're saying different definitions because I disagree with you. Coddled to me is something more. What's the definition of coddled?
Spoiled is probably a better one for what we're saying. Because coddled is like
spoiled.
Coddled is like protected.
Wait, so spoiled. You work hard for something. You want the best of what it is. That doesn't mean you're spoiled.
Yeah, it does.
It doesn't.
It spoils you. It does. It spoils you because now look at you now, right? And you're going to be like, well, because I worked hard for it, sure. But you now compared to when you were a kid, because you're used to a certain lifestyle now, because yes, you've worked hard for it. You deserve it. Whatever. None of that matters in what I'm saying. You're used to a certain lifestyle now that you expect things to be different. So you've been spoiled along the years.
No, but if you're paying for it, it's a level of service.
But it doesn't matter if you're paying for it or not, right? But you're like, I expect a certain level of service. And
if you're paying for it.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with it. Of course it is.
I don't think it's spoiled.
You expect it.
No, you pay. It's like this. If you buy a Mercedes, you buy a Hyundai, you expect the Mercedes to be better because you're paying more.
Right.
Some people are so. Look at Pa the way it was. Pa was like.
But here's the thing: you would never buy a Hyundai because you've been spoiled along the way.
No, but there's something.
Would you ever buy a Hyundai?
No, only because of me. No, only because of me with the cars. So for example,
but what does that mean?
Meaning because I like cars. But for example,
what if there was an amazing?
What about that store?
An amazing Kia. You would be like, you can't buy a Kia.
No. What about the fact that remember when you said the bottle of water? I wasn't going to spend $30 on a bottle of water, but like it makes no sense. You can afford it. And to me, it's like, no, I just don't see a value in that. Buying 5 bottles of water at $6 a bottle, it's a fucking waste. Get a cup with a faucet.
Sure.
So it's just that you choose to spend your money that you earn doesn't mean you're spoiled. If I said, let me finish. If I said, I want that, and I'm not willing to pay whatever it is, and I'm entitled to that, whatever, you're like, well, you're a fucking brat. That's spoiled.
That's a brat.
But I think that's spoiled.
I'm a spoiled kid, but I'm not a brat.
I don't think you're a spoiled kid.
Definitely I am. I don't mean it spoiled rotten, but we growing up a certain way has
that doesn't make you spoiled.
Of course it does.
100% does not make you spoiled.
I think it does.
Spoiled. If you have lack of appreciation, entitlement, and arrogance, whatever, then you're spoiled.
Yeah, I mean, let's see. This is
if someone's worth $1 billion and they buy the kid a Porsche, does that make that kid spoiled? The kid's a good kid. That billionaire, that's like spending $5.
I know, but here's the thing. Even let's say the kid's a good kid. So maybe spoiled is the wrong word because spoiled is like really negative, and I don't mean it negatively. But like that kid, let's say you're a great kid, whatever, and your parents buy you a Porsche. your worldview and the way you live are slightly different now that you own the Porsche than they were if you would have owned a 2002 used Toyota. So now you're on another ladder of life. You're right a rung up,
which doesn't make you spoiled.
No, but now you're 16 and you have a Porsche. Now when you're 24, you're going to be like, well, I already have a Porsche. Now I'm going to want a Bentley. You won't go back down to, you're not right. Once you have the Porsche, you're not going to go to the Toyota Yaris that's $19,000 because because you're spoiled.
No, because
if that spoiled the wrong way,
if that person's worth $1 billion and they spend $70,000 on a car, that's like a nickel.
I know, but it doesn't matter.
If they take the kid the family's a billionaire and they say to the kid, "Listen, we're going to pay your prom, but you have to get a job." No, but I disagree with.
There are plenty of people who are poor that spoil their
definition.
Kids. I mean, this says it's a derogatory term aimed at children who exhibit behavioral problems for being overindulged by their parents. Children who are perceived as spoiled may be described as overindulged, grandiose, narcissistic, egocentric.
Right, that's how I read it.
Being spoiled is not recognized as a mental disorder. That's a weird thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's a more negative way to do it. I don't even remember how we got on this. I just think that, me, Bryce, and Burke, we're great. I think we're great people. We're appreciative of what we have, but we wouldn't be able to live. It wouldn't be easy to live.
By the way,
we live such a good life. To live the life that some of the people live here would be like a big.
But that doesn't mean you're spoiled. It's just a different life. You're okay. I'm going to wrap this up, but I'm telling you, you're 100% wrong. And I'll tell you the reason why. Because every parent wants to better themselves and better life if you're a loving parent for the benefit of your family.
Spoiled might not be a great.
Let me finish. Security, better life, better education, better whatever it is, better food, better shelter, better protection. That doesn't mean spoiled. That means that's what your obligation to do. So if you can give your kids a better life than you had and they're appreciative and still give back to the community, they're good human beings in society, they're very appreciative, they're hardworking, it's not spoiled, it's all relative. Like I said, the guy who's worth $1 billion, let me say this, the guy who's worth $1 billion that buys his kid a fucking Porsche or a Ferrari, as opposed to me who, let's say, might buy my kid an Audi, proportionally, that billionaire is like him spending, like me buying my kid a 30-year-old Hyundai. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Okay,
relatively.
So
that doesn't make it spoiled.
Okay, but do you think
it's relative?
Okay, fair. Let's take that example then, because I think that's
and
a
then
fair example.
We're spending a lot of time.
That kid of the billionaire who has the $100,000 car, and the kid of a working class American who has a $25,000 car. Do you think that those kids now are like the same? Or do you think that the kid who has the $100,000 car is now going to live a slightly different life? They're going to think about
different issue. That's not spoiled, though.
Yeah,
that's not spoiled. I don't agree. That's just a different life.
Fine, then spoiled's the wrong word.
I have a question. There's people just live different lives.
It removes them from. It makes it harder for them to live like this, is what I'm saying. There's rungs. That's why I use the latter example.
Well, the older adage are saying it's hard to go from riches to rags.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
That's human nature.
Yeah, no, that's all I'm saying. Right.
It's human nature.
The more riches so the rags, the more away from rags you get, the more spoiled I think you become.
Not spoiled. I think it depends on the person.
That's why I think coddled was a better word. I think because you become more comfortable.
Comfortable, different. But by the way, you'd be surprised. Human nature. If you had to fucking go back, I think a lot more people can fucking do it.
I don't think now, and that's I think the core of what this conversation was, where we got to. I don't think now. I think people, a lot of Americans, even not rich Americans, are too comfortable that they can't. They just are physically incapable of the survival.
I disagree. You know, people go to fucking jail and survive in jail, or things you do.
Jail, everything's taken care of for you.
Bronny,
you get food every day given to you.
Bronny, the human brain.
Jail is not jail's not a survival.
When you went to Turtle Island, remember the first 2 days? When I went to Kilimanjaro the first 2 days?
Right, but me and you are different than most people. That's what I think.
But I think the human body and the human brain, people could fucking adapt. That's all I'm saying. I think and I'm surprised we're having this conversation because it usually be the opposite, you and I. You know that the body and the human being could do is much more capable than we allow ourselves to be. We might not want to, but we would fucking do it, period. That's my feeling. Do I think Americans are used to more luxuries and want things more and more demanding? 100%. But there's nothing fucking wrong. Where it's not a third world country. It's not a country where there's more luxuries. We create that way. When you look at the structure of things, when you look at the way roads are built, you look at the amenities and luxuries, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. That's the way we've grown and what we want. And a lot of inventions are by necessity. A lot of things we want are by necessity. So what's wrong with that? I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
never. Actually, I was going to say I never said there is anything wrong with that. I think there is. I mean, look, we see it. This episode is brought to you by Manscaped, who will be setting you up on the right path for the new year, because it's New Year, New You. I bet you have all these New Year's resolutions that Manscaped will likely help you to achieve.
Which you need to use. You have a couple of hairs here.
My nose.
And you have in the back. The back of your neck is going from your back of your hair to your full neck.
Well, I'm trying to connect all the hair on my body.
Not trying. You did it. You got to use it.
It's connected. My nose hairs just grow like crazy.
So you got to make a conscious effort.
They grow like weeds, and so I use the weed whacker,
which is the greatest thing in the world.
Which is their ear and nose hair trimmer on there.
I love it. Look at mine. I used it right before we left on vacation. Looks good, right?
Looks great.
Thank you, buddy.
Manscaped has all you need for your grooming needs, whether it's like their trimmers, their nose hair trimmers, or even like their lotions on products. Like I use, so we're in Mexico right now, as you guys know. It's hot out. We're walking around all day. I put a little bit of their crop preserver on, which is their ball deodorant. I got no swamp ass. I get no sweaty balls.
The wipe too.
The what?
You gave me a couple of those wipes. They have wipes for your balls too.
Yeah, they have everything. So if you head over to manscaped.com and you use the code DaddyIssues20, you'll get 20% off your entire order and free shipping. So go over there, check out the performance package. If you're new to Manscaped, I would recommend that. It pretty much sets you up with everything they have. So check that out. Also, a lot of people don't know that they do shampoo and conditioner, body wash, deodorant, lip balm. It's like I use all that stuff. If you've ever seen me or met me in person and you've smelt me and you're like, oh, wow, he smells super clean, it's thanks to Manscaped. So once again, head over to manscaped.com, use the code DaddyIssues20. You'll get 20% off your order and free shipping. I would bet a good amount of money. I have no idea what the real stats are. I would bet a good amount of money that an average American town and the town we're in, which is probably just an average Mexican town, there's a lot more depression in the American town. There's a lot more suicide in the American town. There's a lot more prescription drugs for mental issues in the American town. There's a lot less happiness, less satisfaction, less fulfillment, less connection to family. I have no idea. I can't back these with anything. It's just a feeling. But I would bet that's the case because of our coddled, luxurious, modern lifestyle. I don't think it's because of that. I think there's other issues. I think that because it happens it's not just an American thing.
I think family values have been broken down. I think the fact that divorce rate is high. I think that I agree. The big business in America is so prevalent that they force these drugs and they fucking it's like feeding the animals the hormones. It's dumbing down the fucking Americans and making that way. So I do agree that some part of what you're saying, I think that, and social media, I think that if there were people,
but they have social media here,
but it's so in your face, like America. I think
right because we're Americans. Because it's like here, the people, right? Like we went to a farming village in the mountains yesterday because they were putting on like a cultural festival, like a heritage festival, and so we went and watched. All the families that live in that town, it's like they're all farmers. So all day, every day, they like have to go and work on the farm and do this shit just to feed themselves. And so we went to this festival. Like, I'm sure look, we saw
they have pressures too. They have plenty of pressures.
Not what I'm saying. Okay. I think actually they might even have, some of them might have more pressures than the average American, different pressures, I guess, let's say. I just think when you're so busy with real life, like actually, like if their farm doesn't get, if they don't work on their farm, they're not going to eat that day. Maybe. I don't know in that situation. So they're like so focused on actually living life that it's like they don't give a shit about the Instagram likes, because I just think Americans, we have it so good. We made it good for a reason. Living a good life is the goal. But now it's so good that it's like our stresses and our worries are for things that our brains aren't used to, and that's why we're
have no value.
Yeah, like we worry about things that we shouldn't really have to worry about because we've solved the problems of all the real worries. We've solved the problems of where's the food? Oh, you can just walk down to Publix and you have so much more access access to different qualities and types of food than you could ever dream of, right? So we solved the problem of food. We solved the problem of like safety. You don't have to worry about a lion coming to get you. You don't have to worry about if a mosquito bites you dying of malaria. You have the medicine. You don't have to worry about it, right? So we don't have the real life worries. We still have worries, right? You worry about like getting new business. You worry about like, does that girl like me? You worry about these things, but it's like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you know? He was a psychologist.
Well, because you're saying one is the necessity, the worry of necessity, life essentials to stay alive, as opposed to not. Look, there could be some truth to that, because you always say if your kids have too much time in their hands, they're going to get in trouble. So the busier your child is with sports and this and that, the less likely they're going to get in drugs or drinking or fights, whatever. I agree with that. I do. However, there's also nothing wrong with wanting more and wanting to have certain luxury and life experiences. I think that, and this is just a general statement, I think as a whole, people, I agree in America, and it's a big problem with this fucking social media and whatever, and businesses and TV and all that stuff. It's pathetic, and I'm going to say that as a negative, because I really mean it as a negative, that people care so much rather than what's really important. And
what is really important?
Family, relationships, memories.
Yeah, I agree.
Helping those who need help. Loving yourself, meaning like, you know, being happy with who you are as a person, knowing that you can have a bad day, but tomorrow will be a better day. And I think when I see people, everyone's worried about the photos, how they look in the photos. You know, it's funny. But you go to a concert. More than
that too, though. Like
just hold the thought for 1 second. I'm sorry. It's a perfect example. You go to a concert or you go to a show, and everybody's videotaping it. Like, I was shocked. I went to the Kiss concert with Dan a couple of months ago, and everybody's videotaping it. I was row 3. People row 1 and 2.
People don't live in the moment.
Like you're literally there just, and by the way, and you're never watching again. They just want to literally just fucking watch the event and stop videotaping it or posting yourself with it. Be in the moment. It's only a 2-hour concert. You literally have to fucking videotape it. You literally have it live in front of you. And that annoys the fuck out of me.
But
that annoys the fuck out of me.
But that's like, Americans don't live in the moment. You don't either. You're always...
I don't know. I try. I don't know if I agree with you on that. I look at you kids, the family. I'm not saying perfect, but that's why we do these vacations. It takes
but like
me.
Literally, we're on this vacation planning the next one. We're not just like
there's a difference though. What we're doing is, and that was because my buddy just texted me about the snowmobiling. But what I'm saying is, to be able to do these things, and I say, this is such a good time. So if it takes me 5 minutes to plan the next vacation, to be with my boys. Yeah. That's enjoying the memories. That's creating memories.
If you were always just living the moment, I would say you're a moron. There's a lot of life you have to think for the future and not for the moment. Of course.
I'm a firm believer in that.
But there are also moments that, yes, a lot of people don't live in the moment when they should be.
You understand what I'm saying?
Sitting in the moment.
Right. Yeah. Yesterday we spent the whole day at the house, and we're just great and we relaxed.
Yeah.
Okay. This morning I was doing work on the computer. I had no choice.
So I was going to say before you said about the concert, I think a big thing though, you were like taking the photos, all this stuff. People should just be like the real values of family and community and all that stuff. I agree with you, but I also think our culture and like the rat race is a good word for just the whole thing.
The tail chasing the dog, right?
Just the rat race of like living in American culture where it's like, I got to succeed. I got to be better than I was yesterday. I got to, be better than the other person, whatever. All the shit.
That's just in metropolitan affluent areas. You go to the Midwest, things like that, or you go to upstate New York, whatever. It's a very different mentality than it is in the inner affluent metropolitan areas. You know that.
What I feel is that I think part of that culture is just not. It's like, it's going to be unfulfilling no matter what. Like, I think that as humans, we're probably more naturally inclined to just like living in a small community. Everyone tends to their own little farm, and you probably are going to be happier and more connected to your family community living like that than living in modern day America, where it's like there's all these things going on. There's all these...
Too much mental stimulation.
Yeah, there's just so much going on. Every business and company is vying for your attention. Every person's vying for your attention. There's so many choices and so many options, so many things that it's like you're disconnected from the real life. You're disconnected from what humans evolved to enjoy, which was just like living life, not like making millions of dollars.
Okay.
But nowadays we've set up our society so that the only way you can really live your life is by achieving the millions of dollars.
All right, so a couple things.
But then how many really rich people have you met that are like truly fulfilled and satisfied. I feel like it's not that.
All right, so a couple of things, because everything you just said, 1,000%, I am in complete agreement. I think you're. And
I guess the word is a simple life.
Well, let's just talk about that, because you're a little bit younger than I am, right? So I'm going to talk about certain life experiences. So I agree with you 1,000%, and I think that pretty much anyone you talk to that is either successful or older would agree. And I don't think it's a personal opinion. I think it's a fact of what you said. It's truly a fact. However, I'm going to relate it to my personal experience and talk about it being a little bit older than you. So when you're younger, okay, and you come and let's say you're educated and you want to excel and be the best version of you, whatever that might be, you are trying to better your life, right? Economically, educationally, family, all these different things. And the only way to really achieve that is by working hard. Now, there is a balance to everything else, because all work, no play, whatever it might be. There is definitely a balance to that. But there is no real, we talked about this many times, and growing up in our household, and what Mom and I always preach, there's no free ride, and you have to work hard. So it's sort of like episode 106, pay now, pay later, play now, pay later. There really is.
It's funny that you remember that.
Because that was just such a,
you remember the episode number.
We got such good feedback on that one. Mm-hmm. So my point is this. When I grew up, Pa used to always say, cash is king, cash is king. So Pa always made us work. We worked hard. He always worked till pretty much the day he passed away. And that's all I knew. So I was always wanting to make money, And you do need money. Money.
But do you? That's the thing.
1,000%.
I agree. 1,000% you need money in modern American society.
Wait, but let me finish. Well, I can only talk about our side. I'm not talking about living in Cambodia or whatever it might be. I'm talking about literally an hour in America. You 100% need money, because if you want the better schools, the better medicine, the better health, like healthcare, I said, better roof over your house, better security.
You do.
You live in better
areas.
Do,
but you do.
Okay, I don't hate that you do. I think that's just the way. Otherwise, live in a socialistic world or live in a fucking place.
Not even socialistic. Why it always goes to socialistic. Like, the thing is, we're just taught, and it's just our culture to be like, well, I need things. I need the new things. But it's like, we don't. As long as you have food, you don't need anything else. You actually do, because you don't want to live in a tenement home where it costs $10 a month to live and you got vagrants there. But what if it's zero? Because
the difference, Bronson, with that is that if you don't have more, if you say everybody's pretty much equal across the board.
No, but why do you go to that? I'm just talking about me. I'm not talking about everyone. I'm not talking about anyone else.
Okay.
I'm talking about, like, if I lived my life, if I had a farm, so I knew I had animals, right, and plants that I raised, so I knew my food. Didn't have to spend money on food. Obviously, I have to. There's inputs to raising animals. You have to make food for the animals that make food for you, right?
How do you get the land?
You have to buy it. No, but like, that's why I'm saying modern America is different.
But like a lot of
these families, they don't. What do you mean get the land? They've had it for generations and generations.
But right now, so you're saying, so you have to buy the land. You can have children. Do I really want my kids working on the farm? Or do I want my kids to try to better their life? Do I want my kids, listen?
But what is better your life? Move to the city and then get depressed?
First of all, it's not a general statement.
Of course, I'm not saying this is the way. I'm just thinking out loud.
But here's the thing. Do I want my kids to, like, really? Just because I'm working 18 hours a day on the fucking farm, or I want my kids to have a better life than I did? I want my kids I'm busting my ass on the farm 18 hours a day so I can provide for them, so I can say to my kids, you get a college education, because education they cannot take away from you. You get a fucking job that pays more. You get a job where you can better your life. Just like these other places, let's just hear me out. These other places that you heard what Antonio said. He said, people go to America. If you can make more money in America, they can send money back to their families to feed their families. Yes. Everybody wants to better their lives. That's a instinctive thing. If you're a good parent, you want your children to better their fucking lives than you have. But I want to go back to the issue.
But do you think, right, I agree with you.
And I want to touch on your other point.
But do you think that is fulfilling? Like, do you think people are maybe not fulfilling? Do you think that people are happy? I'm going to
answer that, okay?
I think most people who do that aren't happy.
Okay, but I think most people aren't happy.
But that shouldn't be.
Okay.
We have the ability to be happy.
Completely different issue when you're saying shouldn't be. So I think it's a lot of individual choice. And by the way, it's better to be unhappy with money than unhappy with no money. That's a given. That's a factual statement.
Say that again?
It's better to be unhappy with money than unhappy without money.
Sure, but I think it's better to be happy without money than unhappy with money.
But you could also be happy with money.
Right, but
there's no utopia.
No, I know, but
if you're saying,
Tad, you gave me one or the other, and then you threw in a third.
No.
Give me one or the other.
No.
Wait, so
I
let me
think it's
ask you,
better.
would you rather be unhappy with money or happy with no money?
I don't know how I'd ever be happy with no money. How could it be happy with no money? Living under a bridge?
Okay, would you rather
Wait, living on
no?
No, because it's not.
What if you're happy living under a bridge?
No, because no one's happy living under a bridge. No one's happy living without having running water. Okay, being able to go to the bathroom.
You don't need
having
money
shelter.
for those things.
Okay, where are you gonna go, tough guy?
No, but you don't need money right now.
100
you as you need money. Yes, but a lot of people in this world, they live in a house that was built 100 years ago.
No,
that
they
is on
still
land that
they're not happy. They still need money. Everyone needs money.
Okay,
Bronson,
but the
100%.
question is, would you rather? It's a yes or no. It's not. I can't because it's a would you rather.
No, it's not would you rather because
you can't abstain from the would you
unhappy
rather.
because I lost a child or unhappy because I have pressure going to work.
No.
There's a
Would you-
difference.
Okay, so you don't have an answer to that.
Because
I think I would rather be happy, whatever the circumstances are, than unhappy. Happy for my life than unhappy
So,
for my life.
but Bronson, first of all, there's no true full utopia of happy or complete always unhappy. It's an individual choice.
Of course, I never said
Okay,
that.
so here's the thing. But if you had to take a choice of being unhappy with money or unhappy without money,
No, but wait, but that's the same. You just changed the money.
no.
You said unhappy.
You
for
talk
both.
about money.
Wait, but you said unhappy with money or unhappy without money.
Or happy with money or happy without money.
See,
I'd rather be happy
okay.
with money.
That's not how this works.
It is how it works. Because yours is a
But I'm
general
asking
statement.
you, would you rather of those two? Of course, every single person in the world would be one of the two best of both. Would want happiness and money. I'm asking you, one of each.
But unhappy in what way? I mean, like, oh, it's Monday.
I don't know. Just unhappy. It's your choice. Whatever you think of. Obviously, you think of something when I say happy, and you think of something when I say unhappy. Which one would you rather have?
Well, everybody. No, because I don't think you can make an answer like that.
Okay, I mean,
I don't think you can make an answer like that.
Okay.
You can't because for
I'm asking you
example,
a hypothetical.
because like if you lost
God.
a loved one, or you knew you were dying, I'd give up money tomorrow to make sure my kids and my family are safe, or I had a long life. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So that's a tough call. Like a fucking guy, Steve Jobs, which is he'd give up all his money tomorrow to be alive. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's not such an easy answer. But let me
Maybe
go,
he wouldn't because he didn't spend any of his money on
But let's
helping
go.
himself.
I just
Ow.
want to see your hair. What
What are you doing? That was like
you
an
did trim it.
intrusive thought.
Listen,
you just
so-
pulled my leg pit
It
hair.
looks like you can braid your hair. I'm just not doing
Stop.
that. So here's what I want to say. Let's go back to fulfilled or not fulfilled. First of all, it's such a subjective thing. People,
Of course,
wait,
but I'm
just
talking
hear me
about for you, not
hear me
for
out, hear me out.
Jose.
I'm going to tell you about me and why Jose, because we're in Mexico.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. So when I grew up, it was so important to me to have the need to make money. I still have that need to make money. Don't get me wrong. But my point is, it was so important to me to make money. And in the 20s and 30s and maybe like early 40s, it would become like you work and you work and work because you need to work. You need to have those building years. You have kids in private school. You have braces. You have all these things, camps, whatever. It's a lot of pressure on young families. Whether you put your kids in those kind of organizations or schools, private, whatever it might be, it's still a lot of pressure raising a family. It's not easy. A young couple, it's not easy, and I think it's getting harder as time goes on for young couples. So there's a lot of pressure, and you make money, and you do what you need to do, and you realize no matter what, you're still not fulfilled. Talking about what you're talking about, I'm going to tell you what happened. So you try different things, you just don't know what it is. And unfortunately, today's day and age, people that are unhappy, they can't, or they think they're not fulfilled, they can't figure it out on their own. They need the medicine, they need the alcohol and social media, they need some sort of validation. It's sort of fucked up because people are just fucked up as a whole, rather than just figuring today's a bad day, tomorrow the sun will come out no matter what, I might as well make the best of it. So you learn and you realize that you say as you get older, and this is whether it's losing testosterone as you get older, or looking at your family and you get certain enjoyment, you realize that certain things that as you get older, I think, you realize what's a little more important than just making money. I think it's different stages you go through in life. So I remember...
Do you think that that's necessary? Like, what if you realize that, or like you say you realize that there's more important things than money, blah, blah, blah. What if you realized that when you were 12?
No, because I don't think... Because the difference, Barney, I don't think...
Like, why don't we just teach that?
Because the difference is, it was very important for your mother and I to bust our ass to provide a lifestyle for you guys.
Right, fair.
So it's not like when you're 12. When you're 12, you should be thinking about different things, and you should be doing finger painting, right? When you're 6 years old, so you're happy with simpler things
Like
because you don't get
18,
tainted.
People who are like,
but if you're
starting
18,
to get into the workforce.
so there are guys that say, you know what? Excuse me. There are guys that say, I'm just going to travel around the world and fucking do whatever I want.
I'm going to go climb for my life.
Right. So now you
live in a
so
van.
now you're 60. What do you do? And by the way, they might be fulfilled in different ways. Mom and I are fulfilled by family and your children. So what happens is you just realize, like when Pop passed away and he's on his deathbed, you realize all the money doesn't make a difference. So you might say in moderation. I think there's a lot of factors come into play. One, you're looking at your own mortality as you get older. Two, let's say you have close ones or your family or parents or in-laws that pass away and you realize half the shit you worry about is really not that important. You look at your children.
Right.
It's not such an objective type of one answer to the world. What makes you happy?
Of course not.
Because everybody
and you can't be happy all the time because then it's not real happiness.
And when everyone says it's cool, it's like the meaning of life. When you figure that out, let me know because you'd be a billionaire, right? I think it's very subjective. But what I do think is, like anything else in moderation, you can live a fulfilled life. You know, you have ups and downs. Everybody that's married for years has ups and downs. Everybody know that's why they say it's so good to listen to your elders, because life experience is the best form of teaching, because you can emulate what you like, what you hear, and don't do what you don't like.
But also you can't really, I'm sure you'll agree with this, you can't really learn something for the truth of it, like a life
until
lesson.
You go through it.
Unless you experience it yourself.
Right. And
someone telling you something, you can be like, oh yeah, I hear you, but you don't know the truth.
But you could appreciate what they have to say, number one, if you listen to them.
Of course.
And number two is, I think I've said this on many episodes ago, but a lot of what you learn are by the mistakes and the failures you make. But the beauty is now, the more life experiences I have and Mom have, and we could share with you and have you experience too, the less likely to make mistakes. So when we talk about booking our next vacation or whatever it might be, it's so important to us to have those memories, to create those experiences, to create the family, the closeness. But on the same token, if I didn't work and didn't have the pressures, you heard me going back to the house today. Oh my God, I'm going to New York in a week and a half, but Monday I've got a mediation. Tuesday I got a fucking 5-hour evidence hearing. Wednesday I got deposition. And I got one day in the office. You know what I'm saying? They're stressful. So I can't be truly happy because there's the yin and the yang, but you bust your ass. It's like this. You think there's professional athletes that fucking become the champions? You know how much effort goes into becoming that champion, or to even if you're second and third place, to compete? They're not happy doing those workouts. Right, they're stressed, but that's so just the way it is.
But is that like a way to live?
100%, because I think human beings are meant to try to push themselves, to excel, to become the best version they can. Otherwise, you're apathetic. And the thing is, if would you rather be an alpha or a beta? I'd rather be a fucking alpha. So I think
that has nothing to do with it.
No, meaning, here's what I'm trying to get at. There are some people just always content with the mediocre. I don't agree with that. It might work for them. That's a beta.
Right. Well, that's different people.
Right. So my point is, I think we are bred.
We
are bred to excel, bred to be the best version of us, bred to be champions.
Content sounds nice to me. If someone's you said someone's always content with, like, that sounds nice to me.
Because it's easy to, here's the equate, and maybe I'm saying this is negative, but I think it is. When I say they're content at your age,
complacent is worse than.
Okay, that's what I mean. Complacent.
Because content is great.
Complacent.
That's the goal of life.
You're complacent.
Complacent is not.
Okay.
Yeah.
So someone at your age that says, I'm happy with this. If I work 9 to 5, I don't have to work past 5 o'clock. That's it. Whatever. It's great. But when you're 60,
I mean, it also depends on the person. Like, I couldn't do that, but certain people
right.
totally could, and they're actually happy, and satisfied.
But
because it gives them the time. But also, that's like a slave of a life, because you're like
just thinking of today. I think you have
not
to
even
plan
that. You're
for
just
the
like
future.
living like you're a slave. You have 3 hours a day to yourself. And
what do you mean?
And it's like your life isn't yours when you just work 9 to 5 for someone else for your whole life. It's
Why?
not your life, because you're a slave to another person. You get like 2 days a week to you.
Most people do that, Bronson.
I know, but and they're like slaves.
Not everybody can be a business owner. And by the way, when you're a business owner, you're a bigger slave to your fucking company than you are to an employer.
Yeah, but you're also free.
But wait, what are you? Because you have liabilities. Yeah. You got to pay your staff whether you make money or not.
There's more stress.
There's higher risk, higher reward. But not everybody's meant to be.
You're making the decisions in your life.
Well, but not. But how many times did I say that I couldn't be home when you kids were younger because I had to fucking work till 10 o'clock at night, do what I had to do?
Most people are slaves.
Well, it's not slaves.
Slaves is the wrong word. Most people are worker ants.
No, Bronson. You know what? I completely disagree. I think
you were just saying that the pathetic 9 to 5 worker.
No, I didn't say pathetic. I did not use that for that. I said there are people complacent, but you can't have it on the back end either. You have to take risks. You have to take opportunities. You have to work very hard. You know, you're not going to make money to be able to retire when you're older by working 9 to 5 and that's it. It just doesn't work that way.
In the life that we've created, yeah, I agree. In the society we've created, because it's not that way in every culture.
There are people who might not aspire or want those things.
I don't mean that on an individual level. Like, that's in America, that's the way we've made it.
By the way, most people want to better themselves. Yeah. Most people want the American Western way. Most people want
that's what I'm asking.
Items.
How's it working? That's what I'm asking. That's the real core to the question that I'm asking. Sure, most people want that because that's what we've set up in this world. But how's it working out? I don't know. Is it working out great? Are Americans killing it? Are American Western people is everyone like succeeding in life?
They're trying. No, but not everybody can succeed, Bronson. That's just the way it is.
I don't mean succeeding financially.
They're trying.
We're more unhappy than ever. Like, these stats are real. I could even look them up. The stats before I was like, I don't know. These stats we can look up. We're more unhappy than we've ever been. But we're more successful. Like, America as a whole is more successful than
alcohol. Remove alcohol, remove drugs, and remove
alcohol.
Fucking social.
Alcohol is not one to remove. The alcohol's been around in cultures for thousands of years.
But there's so many more people now.
Alcohol's a Lindy.
Listen, there's so many more people. There's so many more people out there.
But it has nothing to do with alcohol.
I disagree with you.
The drugs,
alcohol, and
Dad,
TV, media.
Right. Okay. So yeah, but Dad, these are all part of the American society. So it's part of it. You can't remove TV media from American society and consider it still America. It would be a different culture. So that's what I'm saying. You said everyone wants to better themselves. Everyone wants to be like the American, like the West, modern, luxury. Okay. I agree with you. Everyone wants that. But is that what we all should want is the question. It doesn't seem to me like it right now because America is at its pinnacle. We have more people, more money, more power than we've ever had, right? But we also have more suicides, more depression, more anxiety, more unsure, less friends, less family, less happiness. Like, literally, these are all measurable things. Like, less healthy physically and mentally overall.
I still think America's the best out of all the other countries.
Okay, I'm not talking about other countries. I'm talking about culture. Like, so is that goal? That to me doesn't seem to be working. It doesn't. If it's more of all the things that I just listed.
All right, but I think people have to be
responsible. Those concepts outweigh the pros.
I think people need to also be responsible for their own actions too, and you can create whatever life you want in America. Period. It's if we can blame America for people's actions,
or do we blame America? It's a system. Or do we out of our control?
Or is it? You could say,
not out of our control.
I'm going to make my group smaller. I'm going to do this. America can do anything you want. You can do anything you want. So I think it's up to the individual.
I'm talking about trends on the culture. I'm not talking about your person. Like, I just think I
think America has a lot of problems. But I also think that
from what humans should be.
Okay, that's a fair statement. I think people still need to be individuals and make their way of life, and they can do whatever they want. There's people live in Vermont, live beautiful lives. There's people live in, wherever. They live great lives in America. We live in metropolitan areas that's very, very, very crowded. A lot of people caught up with the wrong things.
That's what I mean. It's like that's what I mean.
But that's our little bubble.
No.
Yeah, there are plenty of places in America that are beautiful, wholesome.
Yeah, of course, I'm not talking about I'm not saying every American is in this.
There's loads of places in America.
There are people who live on a ranch in Wyoming who do exactly the life I described, and they're Americans. I'm not talking about every single American is horrible. That's not what I'm trying to say at all.
I think if you go out of the metropolitan areas, there's great places.
Yeah, even metropolitan places are great. I'm not saying things are I'm not saying we should like destroy America. America's toxic.
I don't take it that way.
I just think that we're not meant to live the life that we do, I guess is what it is.
I guess we are. We're doing it. People are doing it.
Not really. A lot of people are killing themselves. Like, honestly, a lot of people are killing themselves.
Then maybe
like 1 in 10 men kill themselves.
Maybe survival of the fittest. Maybe they're not meant. It's like the peanut allergy. Maybe they're not meant to. To do. Maybe they're meant. I don't mean this to sound derogatory, but if they kill themselves, that's just the way it is. Yeah, and I don't wish that on anybody. That's not what I'm saying.
If you use the survival of the fittest analogy, if you're saying that, like, there are plenty of times where species will evolve down a path that's not good for them, and then they'll go extinct. So it's like,
and if that's
maybe
the case,
if we
maybe
are
that's the case.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
I don't know.
Like, I do think a lot of people in the world are opening up, looking around, and being like, the way we're going is not the way we should be going.
I get
That's what I mean. Like
and then maybe it'll change. Maybe people will force it to change.
It'll either go really bad or it will change. And that's what I'm saying. I'm just thinking about out loud about this.
But there is no free ride is what I'm getting at in that regard. But I hear
there's
you.
no free ride for anything. Even like, remember, I mean, a big thing that we've talked about in the last couple of weeks is I've been saying like just technology. I feel like people are getting fed up with it, getting fed up with the internet. If the internet was turned off tomorrow, I think everyone would be a lot better off.
Okay. I don't disagree with you on that.
And I've talked about all this, like, remember I said, like, I feel like people are going to start using flip phones again.
Yep.
People are going to be regressing with technology. CNN ran this article.
What'd you say digressing?
Regressing.
What's that mean?
Going backwards.
What's digressing?
Digressing means, like, you're...
Getting off
yeah,
topic.
like not what you... Yeah, right.
Okay.
Getting off topic.
Gotcha.
Regressing is going back.
Okay.
Like...
All right. Digressing.
Okay. Wait, I think I lost the internet. CNN ran this article yesterday, and I was like, "Oh wow, that's literally what I've been talking about." It might not.
So why are you looking? Why you looking for that 1 second? So like when we in Italy, I know I'm not trying to sound like we're bragging, but when we were in Italy, what a nice like you envy that simple life.
That's what I'm saying.
I get it,
but
isn't the grass green on the other side?
I definitely think part of it is that, but also like that humans have been living a simple life for tens of thousands of years. Humans have been living a complicated modern life for like 100. You know, so it's like
fair enough.
We talked about Lindy, how like time proves things right and wrong, right? Like certain things have stood the test of time,
right?
Like that's why when you said alcohol, I was like, alcohol is a moot point because every human culture for tens of thousands of years have been consuming alcohol and we're still around. So it's like it's fine. Alcohol has proven itself, Lindy. It's fine. It stood the test of time. Certain things like a simple life. Most
like the
humans,
little villages, people just hang out, and it was very.
There's not that many worries. You don't work too hard. But you also don't live a high life, right? You don't have a lot of luxuries. But they were all fine with that because that was the life.
It was beautiful, right?
Most people, like if you took every human, living and dead, it would be like probably 99% of humans have lived that way, and we're in the 1%. Because it's so new, the modern world with technology and cities. It might stand the test of time, and we're just in a trial period. But I do feel like we are in a period of it's gotten to a point now where everyone is like reevaluating it. Like, is this the life we want to live? Because back in 1402, it was like you didn't question, is this the life I want to live? There was no other life to live. You know, you just lived on the farm that your parents work on, that their parents and their parents and their parents and their parents.
True, but I don't know if that's necessarily better, but I hear you. Are you able to get the article?
I think, no, it's not. I think it's maybe not better for the individual. I think it's just what humans are
as a whole
adapted to. It's what humans, let's see. Here. So they ran this article yesterday. It says Gen Z has a new vintage technology to obsess over. First, it was disposable cameras. In the lower right, here it says today, flip phones from the mid 1990s era, some available for as little as $20, are showing up in TikTok videos of young people unboxing them, bedazzling their cases just as earlier generations did, and filming tutorials on achieving a carefree aesthetic through the low quality camera. But most importantly, they love the ability to disconnect, or as much as that's even possible in 2023. Camila Cabello, you know, she's a famous singer. She tweeted on Thursday, "I'm Team Flip Phone Revolution. Maybe I can write the theme song." Actress Dove Cameron, who rose to fame on the Disney Channel, said in an interview in November that she has switched to a flip phone. "Spending too much time on her phone and looking at social media is really bad for me," she said. I found a little 90. So it says, as smartphones and social media became more ubiquitous around 2012, so did the rate of depression among teens. Between 2004 and 2019, the rate of teen depression nearly doubled. And this is a new trend. Sammy Palozzo, a freshman at University of Illinois, and her friends listen to the latest music on their smartphones as they get ready. Then when it's time to leave, they leave their smartphones behind. Remember we talked about that?
Yes.
This whole article is saying that teens now, because I think they're discovering, they're asking the question that we've been, is this good for me? And they're realizing, no, it's probably not. So there's this whole wave of young people regressing, being like trying to disconnect more.
I think it's good. I think it's
great.
Maybe can we get Mama flip phone?
No, she's too far gone.
I
just think, CNN literally ran this article today, and they're saying,
interesting.
We're starting to see it become more prevalent. And that's just all I'm getting at. I think that the
I'm
world
I'm
and
a
culture,
supporter of that.
I think the world has just gotten too away from what it should be, and I think people are realizing it and going back.
Yeah, no, I think it's. Go ahead.
And like it's gonna. If you guys want to know more about like when I keep saying Lindy, there's a Patreon episode that we talked all about that. But I think that like that's a perfect term for this. It's like certain things stand the test of time if they work, and things that don't work, they don't. Like that's what humans are great at, right? Like we are great at
Kind of
what's
shit.
the word? Yeah, like some. I can't think of the fucking word. But if something doesn't work, we don't use it, and if something works, we integrate it quickly. Like that's how literally what separates humans from every other animal.
Assimilate?
No, that's just what makes humans better than all the other animals. Is that like we are good at keeping things that work, and when something is bad for us, we get rid of it. There's a lot of things that we're doing in modern society that are bad for us, I think.
I don't disagree.
And I think people are. I think it's gonna.
You think people? It's starting to pendulum starting to swing.
I just think things are gonna change. I really do. I think things in the next 10 to 30 years are gonna change drastically. I think things have. Actually, it can go one way or the other. The big corporations and shit can gain more power. It can get even worse and then never get better. Or it can, I mean, so many people now, compared to 10 years ago, everyone on left and right are like, I don't trust the government. I don't trust the media. I don't trust big business. So many people are awake, right? Is like not woke, like awake in terms of seeing how things are going bad. Look at what happened in COVID. So many people in COVID were like, you know what? I'm moving out of the cities. I'm changing my life. I'm making it simpler. I'm making it more rustic, rural, whatever.
No, I don't disagree with you. And I'm listen. You know, I'm happy if it changed like that. I am. I'm so anti that social media bullshit and big business.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I think it's. I mean, I guess it's up to us to change it.
We'll find out. We'll see if it's in my lifetime.
Yeah, but people have to. Well, it'll either be in your lifetime or it'll never be. Really, because we're right at the cusp of these big companies either like going away, which we've seen this year. That's another thing which gives me hope. Social media, right? These companies 3 years ago, we were like, these are the biggest companies in the world. Facebook, Google, right? Microsoft, these tech companies were the biggest companies in the world. They had the most power, and the people who ran them we viewed as like the elites, right? In the 1600s, it was the kings and queens. Now in modern day America, it's Mark Zuckerberg and Bill Gates, right? They're American royalty. The last year, these companies have been hemorrhaging money. Mark Zuckerberg is about to get kicked out of Facebook, where 2 years ago it was the most profitable, biggest company in America.
It's crazy.
Amazon is hemorrhaging money. Like all these companies are losing so much money because a lot of people are like, I don't like it anymore. Because I think people we can look up all the things, but like big tech compared to 5 years ago to now, it's not big tech anymore. It's like not big. It's just not. It doesn't have the power and the prestige that it used to have. I think that's a good thing. I think it's because people are being like,
listen, I'd be happy if these big businesses weren't so large,
but that's
and gave other opportunities for other kinds of industry to come out there.
And so that's the thing. You said it. Hopefully, I say it in my lifetime. I think you either will see it in your lifetime because these big businesses, because people will realize, wait, these big businesses are ruining the world for all of us. None of us can open our own business. We're all slaves to these corporations. So let's revolt. Right? This year, we saw more companies, and you can feel however you want about it, but we saw more companies and individuals unionize this year than like ever in the history of American labor history. Which means people are however you feel about unions, if these individuals are unionizing, it means that they're realizing that the big companies are not in their, like, don't have their interests at heart. I think that's a good thing. I mean, obviously the unions get too powerful and they become bad.
Right, they have their own issues.
But like but the sentiment is what I'm talking about. That people are like, you know what, these big businesses are not it. So I think it either will be.
I think everybody agrees with that. Question of
They
whether
didn't. They didn't 10 years ago. People
True.
didn't think about it. That's what it was.
well, we didn't have to. We figured, oh my God, it's a great thing. The luxuries, the items.
Exactly.
But
We
have
were
to-
ignorant about
but
it.
we'll have to see what happens. I'm all in favor of not having these big businesses, but it is very convenient. All right. On a
Well,
separate
you
note,
are in favor. You say you're not in favor, but you don't care because it is convenient. You don't
I'm
make
not-
any choice. You don't make any decision in your life
To change it.
to not support the big business.
correct, because
Right. So
I'm
then don't
busy.
say I would love the big business to go away.
I can't say it, but I got
But you don't
other
do it.
okay, but I do other things. I have other priorities to fucking take care of.
Yeah.
You know, you have the freedom to sit there and watch 5 hours of fucking podcast.
That has nothing to
no,
do
I'm
with
saying,
this at all.
and no, let me finish. You have the time and the freedom to do things. I don't.
Podcast. What are you talking
No, my
about?
point is you can read for leisure. I'm saying you have the time so you can make a
Has nothing to do
conscious-
with reading.
Let me
Okay,
fuck. You want to let me finish? Meaning you, or let's say your generation, have the ability to say, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to go to this. When you're providing for a family and you got employees to take
course.
care of and you got clients and you're working 12, 14 hours a day, you sit there and say, I don't have the fucking freedom or the luxury to go ahead and try to make a difference. I have to pick and choose my differences.
Yeah.
So I'm in agreement. I don't like the big business running it. But yes, I don't have the time or the ability right now to go ahead and say, I'm going to drive to the local hardware store when I can have batteries delivered in 7 hours.
Yeah. And
Okay, it's a big difference.
no, of course. And most people, 90% of people, are in agreement
correct.
with you.
So therefore,
But
it's
then
easy for you to
nothing
say.
will. No, of course it's easy for me to say it. But all I'm saying is, but then nothing will.
Well,
get
because
done.
because
Nothing will change.
I can't change and solve all world's problems.
Of course.
I have to pick and choose what's important to me.
But at certain
and,
times-
and what's important to me,
Yeah.
is my family, my future, and my company, and be
Yeah.
able to retire one day. That to me is a priority, as opposed to, do I drive to the fucking store and waste 3 hours round trip to get fucking batteries?
Yes. But at certain times throughout history, and I'm not saying you're not like a hero, but at certain times throughout history, the heroes that we view now are the ones that said, this will be really bad. This will like not only could potentially take my life, but it'll make my life extremely uncomfortable and inconvenient. But I got to do it because then it'll make it better. Like
Correct, but
America.
it's correct. But
in 1760, the Americans. Okay, sorry. Go.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, go.
No, I'm saying we're going to get into a whole other topic, and I'm saying go ahead, finish your 17. Go ahead.
All the founding fathers, every single one of them, were wealthy, landowning, colonists, right? So they lived in the government by the British. They all had businesses, families, responsibilities. They were all well off, but they had responsibilities to, right? Like you said, all I care about is my company, my family. They all had those. And they decided to risk all that for what they thought would make their world better. It happened to work for them. A lot of people do that and it doesn't work. But we view those people as heroes, as strong masculine men who were heroes because they took the ideals of an idea that they had that they thought would be better, and they
implemented
sacrificed and risked their entire life for it.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm capable of doing. I don't know if many people now are capable of doing that
True. Personally,
because it's not worth it.
I
for
don't
us.
have the time to do it. Just be honest. I don't. To me, that's not as a priority for me. So if Amazon stays around and I'm fucking dead one day, Amazon stays around.
Okay.
For me, I'm 56. I'm tired. I want to one day like to fucking
So you've given up.
retire. Not giving up. It's not giving up. My priorities are different.
Yeah.
It's not giving up.
Right. Fair. Okay.
Okay, so when I look at it, I don't look at it as a negative or giving up. I look at it, what's important to me. There's so many. It's like this. You know how many people hit me up for charities? I can't solve all the charities. I got to pick and choose what's important to me and help those that's important to me. You like reading certain books? I might like reading different books. You might like a flavor of ice cream? I might like a different flavor of ice cream. I have to pick and choose. To me, that's not a priority. Do I think if I was talking about all the issues and you ask me, here's 100 different issues, give me a choice, like it or don't like it? I don't like these big businesses running our stuff. I don't like it, okay? But it is what it is. It's not a priority to me as much as it is as saying, I want to one day relax. I want to one day be with my children, my grandchildren. I want to one day know that I'm secure financially. And I want to be around a long time and have health. Those are important to me, not whether or not Amazon goes that in business or out of business. Fucking or Facebook bullshit. That, I'm more at the point of creating my own little world and my own little bubble because I don't want to deal with the bullshit. So that's the sheltered, call it spoiled little life. I don't want to fucking deal with that stuff. If there's drugs, I can't solve the drug problems. But what I can do is live in a certain area where I avoid the drugs. If there's a fucked up issue with place being dangerous, I don't go to those places. I create a fucking little bubble where I get more guns. That's what I do. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't have the time to do it. And I'm not sitting there living in an idealistic world because I am tainted based on my age and life experiences. So in an idealistic world, you're 100% correct in what you're saying. But it's like I said, the analogy of the charities. So many problems in the world. So many people need to be helped. So many different organizations. I can't help them all. So many different kinds of music out there. I listen to a certain kind of genre of music. That's just the way it is. And there's only so many hours in a day, and I have to prioritize because there's things I'd like to do that I still don't get to do. And because I'm so busy, that I have to pick and choose what's more important on a scale of 1 to 10. I might have a scale of 1 to 10, 100 things. I might get to 7 of them. That's just the way it is. As you get older,
it's lucky.
You prioritize.
It's lucky that you can even prioritize.
I don't have a choice. It's not like I don't have a choice.
You do. It's lucky that you have the freedom to prioritize what's important to you.
Is it lucky?
Like
or
it is lucky.
Wait, or did I create it? See, I don't take.
That's like it's lucky because we live in a world where you have the freedom to do that.
Freedom because we're in America?
Like think about World War II. Like everyone was living their life and then shit happened and then everyone's life changed because of it. If you were a Jew, you were shipped away, out of your control. You didn't have the ability to have priorities. If you were an American, you were shipped off to war.
Right, but that's not the world we live in today. I can't talk about the world we live in today.
But that's exactly why I said
I'm also lucky.
Wait. All I said was, yeah, you're lucky.
No, but
that's because we live in a lucky world.
We're lucky that's not an earthquake right now. I mean, I don't understand what that even means. No, because
you said I don't care because whatever. I mean,
no. I'm not saying to shut you down. I'm just saying, but we're lucky that the world.
No, but
like there's not an earthquake,
right? So like America in let's say 1938, you were. Let's say take your same life, right? Like let's take our same life and just put it to 1938 America. You still have your law firm, your business. You could still feel the exact same way as you were, but then now in 2 years, oh shit, there's a war going on in Europe, and all these people are dying. We don't have to go as Americans, right? Like at first we didn't go. All these Jews are dying. All these Poles and Russians are dying because there's this evil over there. Mm-hmm. But you still have your business here. You're fine. You have your family. That's your priorities. Right, what do you do? Wait, but as America eventually, at first they were like, you know what, we're not going to, they agreed with how you feel. It's not our business. Why risk what we have? We're good. I have my business, so I risk it. But then as a collective, we decided, you know what? We have to do this. And so people were shipped off. Everyone's business now was, right? Like you wouldn't just be able to just have your law firm. Every business was now for the war effort. Every kid, my age, Bryce's age, was shipped off to the war, died, fought. Our life wasn't ours anymore, but we did it for an idea, for a value.
Okay.
And we view all of those people as heroes. They made the decision, just like they had lives just like you. It wasn't like your life is so much better. It was an American people, just like you, who all had businesses, who then decided, you know what? We have to risk what we have for this.
Okay.
Because they were living in unlucky times. That's all I was saying. You are living in a lucky time where you still have the freedom to make those priorities. And you like freaked out on me saying that.
No, I didn't freak out at all. Didn't freak out. I'm just saying that I think the circumstance, you could say that anything. As for example, what about what the fucking levees broke in New Orleans? Or what about when you have a tsunami? They're just circumstances.
That's something happening to you. In World War II,
but I'm
America made
lucky,
the choice to go over to get it to happen to us.
Okay, but
it didn't happen.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, you use the word lucky, and I'm saying that's just the circumstances we are in. Where I can say I'm lucky with everything, then, because right now we don't have an earthquake in Mexico. I'm just saying, or the building when we thank God last night when we slept in the house didn't burn down. We're lucky.
But like with how we got on this was I was saying like Amazon's big business shit, like changing the way we live to stop that which like is destroying our society, taking away jobs, all this stuff, right? And you're like, I don't care enough to change it. That's all I'm saying. Like in 10 years, how you're saying like, but it doesn't matter. The earthquake can happen or whatever. In 10 years, it might be too late. Like when the colonists revolted,
that's the way the world will be then.
Right. So exactly. So Right,
okay.
but that's what I'm saying. So it's just, you just let the bad happen.
No, not
or
like,
do you, before the bad happens,
Okay.
when you can recognize it, do you say,
let
we
the
gotta
bad
stop
happen? I
that?
recognize that there's problems with cancer, child abuse,
No, but-
human trafficking, drugs, crime, homeless.
I know, but we're talking
These are
about this.
No, but these are all issues. They're all issues. So the reality is, like, you can't solve every issue.
Of course not. I'm not saying to.
So what you're if it's important enough to you because you have a longer future than I do, right? Then what do? You're gonna stop doing what you're doing, picket and protest Amazon and do everything else?
No,
you're gonna start an Amazon page?
doesn't have an effect on my life. I don't
using
spend
an
money
analogy.
with them.
Okay.
Right, but see, I mean, they're easy choices for me to make. I do make choices.
Okay. But okay, so listen, that's your choice. I think it's great. But you don't know if you are one day you own a business and, for example, you're now, let's say, running my law firm, and 10 years down the road and you say, great, I've got to order a keyboard because my paralegals or power battery backup for the computer, the server's down, and I go into the fucking Office Depot and they're out and it says 2 days where I can order on Amazon and have it delivered by tomorrow morning. You know what? And your clients require and whatever, you're going to order from Amazon. Just saying.
Yeah, but that's
saying.
It's worse. It's worse.
Okay, I'm not saying
because
you're wrong,
the American
but it's
colonists
making choices.
Yeah, of course.
That we
of
have
course making
sometimes
choices.
that we.
But sometimes you have to make the hard choice for what is right.
Okay, so that's fine. But here's another thing: make that hard choice when you literally, if your office computers are down, and you know that your kid's private school or brace bill's due tomorrow, and
see, these are all superfluous. This is the complicated life.
We got something.
This is what we talked about in the beginning of this episode. Life's complicated now.
Is it complicated or it's just called life?
It's not called life.
It's just called life, Ronnie.
Braces, private school, those are complications of things. That's not part of life.
Why are they They are part of life. This is the life we live in.
Right.
Or you could listen.
But it's a more complicated life than a simple life.
Life is complicated. Or you could say to your kid, listen, after you got off the farm at 7 o'clock and you wash up and you brush your crooked teeth and you're not educated because you only live in this little world, you don't know what else in the little town, you never been outside this town. I think that's a disservice. It's like this. Okay. I think when a parent makes their kids, for example, let's say like the Orthodox Jews or the Mormons or whatever, and they just literally, and the kids have no choice but to live in that world and they know nothing else. I think
that's
it's
different than what I'm saying.
Bad analogy then. I think it's you want your kids to be more exposed and they can make their own decisions as they get older. But yes, things are complicated. With risk, higher risk comes higher reward. That's just the way, to me, I look at his life. I don't break it down in each little element. For example, what makes the cake, the flour, the dough, the egg, this, that. I look at it as a cake. So we have to deal with it.
Okay. Yeah.
That's just the way I view it.
I don't.
Because you know why you don't? And it's okay, and maybe I'm wrong to say this, because you haven't had enough life experiences and pressure like that to realize that you have to fight to get what you want. You have to fucking earn it. You have to fucking bust your ass to get it. And
that's not really what I'm talking about.
I wish we lived in a utopia, simpler.
I'm not saying don't work.
Simpler life where it was so simple. But I don't know. I think that we evolved to more things. I think it'd be fucking. I don't know. I don't agree.
But is the world better? That's the main question. Is the world better? You said we've evolved.
One can make a great argument that things are so much better, and you can make the same argument that things are worse. Yeah. I just think it's part of life, and it's up to the individual, not make a general statement. I think it's up to the individual to make the best version of their life, whatever it means, because everyone has a difference in what they want out of life. It was different passions, hobbies, likes, dislikes. Make the best version of what you want, knowing that it's going to be hard times and good times, ups and downs, because that's part of life, the bumpy road. And what you need to do is, and what works for you and your children, if you can look in the mirror and say, I did the best version of what I can do in that run the day before you die, and say, I'm okay, I'm happy for the most part with how my life turned out, then you did a good job. And if you could say, I left good legacy, I made the world a little bit better place, me being in it than me not being in it, then you did your part, okay? And I think that's just the way it is. And we're human beings, and we learn as we go, and we try to do the best we can, and we help those who need help within reason, not where it's going to put you at such a way you're harming your loved ones. You pick what's important to you, and you live your life and you do it. And then when you get older, hopefully you'll around long enough, you have your health, because everyone knows that's the most important thing, to enjoy the fruits of your labor and look back at your children, your grandchildren. And that's when and as we get older, we lose our testosterone. We might, things change. You might lose your drive, your motivation. So the simpler things become more enjoyable. We can just rest. Like we talked about the people living here in Manzanilla and doing all stuff. They say they retired because you get more for your money.
Manzanillo.
Okay, Manzanillo. Okay, sorry. So I think it's part of a
there's an interesting thing there. You're saying as people get wiser, more experienced, learn more, they start to realize the simpler is better. That's what you
because
said.
what happened? No, let me explain.
So
something.
isn't there? If you see that, if you understand that,
Bronny, I definitely think people would. If you, it's human nature. If you said to somebody, would you like, if you had an opportunity to have a simple life, would you? People, of course, don't want to find. Most people, even insects, find the least obtrusive way to get from point A to point B. We know that. But however, there's so many factors come into play. You can't have, say, a simple life where you wake up at 10 and go to bed at 4 in the afternoon and drink all day, and then you say, oh my God, my kid is sick.
But that's not fulfilling to anyone.
But that's not true. Some people just want to go on a beach and on a hammock and surf all day. Everybody's different. So the reality is, I think when I said when you get older and you don't have the same strength, you realize, you say to yourself, I get enjoyment out of my grandchildren. I get enjoyment out of, I'm going to take up painting. But it's that hard work that got them to the point where they could take up painting because they might have better medicine, better education, made more money, better investments, build better assets. But it doesn't come by handouts. It comes by earning it, right? So there's no free ride. It's that simple. So I rather have a simple life, but now we try to travel more. I might not stress as much, but I'm older because I was able to do those things. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference. I can talk about, oh my God, one more year of college for Burke. I can't fucking wait. That'll make my life simpler. But if I said to Burke, listen, Burke, it doesn't make me a bad parent if I said, Burke, you're going to FSU. But he wanted to go where he wanted to go. So if I can do that for my son, why do I not want to do that?
No, I agree.
That's all I'm saying.
So
I think individual choice, I wish life was simpler, but I don't think I'd be able to give you guys a lifestyle. I'll give you, if I buy.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, but is
it better? The answer is yes.
The lifestyle
yes.
better? Yeah,
so I have a question. So if I buy a car, so right, I'm not gonna say what kind of car I just got. So that's an expense. Doesn't make my life simpler, but I enjoy it. That's a choice. I enjoy it. I could try. I could not get the car, but that's my choice. And when I don't want it anymore, I'll sell it.
Yeah,
it's a choice. And shouldn't people have that choice?
Oh, totally.
That's what I'm saying.
And I agree. I definitely think people should have the choice. And that's why I don't think that these big companies are good, because they take away our choice.
I tend to agree. I don't like the big company aspect. Yeah. Do we have time? So we haven't done it to follow the advice. We're already in. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? But I want you to know, I do hear what you're saying, and I don't disagree with everything you're saying.
I also am not saying what I'm saying is the right way.
You just bring food for thought.
I'm just, it's just thinking.
Isn't it nice now to, look, I don't know what the right answer is. Everyone has a different solution to how they want to live their life, and I think people should live the life the way they want to live their life.
I might not be able to get it. Hold on.
Are you in?
Well, yeah, it's just really, really slow.
Why are we not getting this? Fuck. It's showing Wi-Fi.
Yeah, but it's just not connecting. Maybe it's just slow up in this room.
Could be. That's right.
That's probably what it is. So the answer is no. I might not be able to do this.
All right, we gotta do follow advice next time then. All right.
Yeah.
All right, Bronny, we're good. Try one more time. See what you got.
It's saying no internet. Look, no internet.
All right.
Even though
love you, Bronny.
It might need to be restarted.
We love you guys. Thanks for listening. We'll speak to you soon. You're joking, right?
Well, I'm trying to be hopeful. I'm trying to be optimistic about that.
Well, I guess you're too young to be a little pessimistic like me.
The fucking things I see out there, people are stupid.